Altuve didn't want to hit in the leadoff spot. Joe Espada said, well, I've got a guy right here that's swinging the bat well coming out of spring. Let's put him in the top of the order. And the Astros have kind of taken off since that April 26th, 27th part of the season when he moved into the top, and he's continued to drive the ball. He is a bona fide leader in this lineup, and he's also a bona fide leader on this team, I think, now.
Since 2022 and his run in the playoffs, people are wondering, are we going to get that guy? And there have been jokes about how many weights he's lifted because of the pictures come out during the offseason of how ripped he looks. Well, Geoff Blum acknowledges that, the physical presence that Jeremy Peña is, and actually what he is as a player overall. This is Geoff Blum on MLB Network talking about Jeremy Peña.
Jeremy Peña is one of these freak athletes. He's hyper twitchy. He's muscular. He's flexible. He can do pretty much anything you want him to do on the diamond. But I think what happened in spring training was kind of simplified that swing a little bit and started to barrel the ball a little bit more. If you go back to spring training, he was driving the ball out of the ballpark, and we were kind of, can he carry that into the regular season? Altuve didn't want to hit in the leadoff spot. Joe Espada said, well, I've got a guy right here that's swinging the bat well coming out of spring. Let's put him in the top of the order. And the Astros have kind of taken off since that April 26th, 27th part of the season when he moved into the top, and he's continued to drive the ball. He is a bona fide leader in this lineup, and he's also a bona fide leader on this team, I think, now.
The 2022 ALCS MVP and World Series MVP, regular seasons have been, we can leave them at fine. Defense wasn't particularly great in a year or two. And obviously the playoffs, everyone was disappointing last year against the Tigers, and Pena wasn't great in 2023 either. But 2025 has shown what type of player he can be. And you guys, I imagine, were discussing him as an obvious all-star. Where at this point now there are guys having, well, Kyle Raleig's having historic numbers, at least for Kyle Raleigh, and we'll see how many home runs he actually does hit. Of course, you got the guys in New York. Did you guys get into where Pena might be in the MVP race?
Ooh, we did not. I feel like he needs to do some more damage before we get there. But he honestly is. I didn't even really think about that, honestly, for Pena. But it would make a lot of sense for him to be in that conversation. He's on one of the top 3 teams right now in the American League. He's the best player, at least position player, on said team. He probably does deserve to be in the conversation, honestly. I mean, there are guys who, yes, are going to be in front of him. It's going to be hard to beat Aaron Judge at this point. It just feels like him and Ohtani are going to win this thing every single year in the American League and National League, unless you do something absolutely dramatic. But I mean, I would put Pena. I think he's fitting to be at least in the conversation right now with how he's playing and how much he's meant to the Astros. You talk about the actual definition, most valuable player. Since he moved to the leadoff spot, he's been one of those valuable players in baseball, probably.
Yeah, of course, Judge, and as you mentioned, the numbers are going to wipe out anyone who might be a threat. But the conversation is one I think that should be had. When the top 5 lists come out, I think Jeremy Peña should at least be mentioned, even if you don't want to put him on that list this early. But it's only June, and if he continues to play the way he has, he's going to garner that type of attention. And being at this level and making an all-star team just adds to the juice of what Jeremy Peña has done this year. So I didn't know about the leadership thing, but you look at this roster now. He's one of the elder statesmen of this roster, as far as guys who've been around and have been Astros for a long time. Look, he's only 27 years old, but we know guys have departed for multiple reasons. It's him, Altuve, Jordan, and in some ways Jake Myers. He's been around a long time. Chaz has been around quite a bit now, of course, and Yiner is probably next on the list. So as far as guys we know as Astros and we see them as Astros, Christian Walker still has things to do, and now Paredes continues to hit the baseball. People will certainly bring him into the fold. I think Pena is one of them, and I think it's time. I mean, Altuve can't be around forever, so if we're looking for the next leader of this baseball team, it probably should be someone like Jeremy Pena.
Well, and we always talk about that. I think it's one of the stupidest conversations we have to have every single offseason. We've been having it since Carlos Correa left and since Springer left, who's the leader of the clubhouse. Now that these guys are all walking out the door. But Altuve is always the leader by example, it seems. The vocal leader always seems to be a Correa and a Bregman. And that was obviously a point of conversation this offseason. I think it's stupid because someone always steps into that role. It doesn't make a lot of sense for Pena to be that guy. Like part of it's his attitude. You can just see the way he presents himself, even when he's struggling, that he has kind of that leadership mold. So yeah, I'm not surprised to hear Blum say that he's kind of stepped into that role from a vocal point in the clubhouse. It makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. As you mentioned, there is a void. There was a void, and who else but him? I mean, there are not a lot of options as far as guys have been around a long time. Kind of ran down the guys who have been, and the way he's performing, he certainly can be someone who leads by example. And if he wants to be a vocal leader, that also helps as well.